Hey, family, my brothers and sisters, and all of my keepers. What the fuck is good? Today, I missed last week, but today is another beautiful day to listen to the Daily Opinion. Fact check. I like their intros. I like doing different intros each time. Makes it a lot easier to figure out if you've already listened to the shit or not. Because you can be like, I never heard that before. That ridiculous shit. But hey, either way, I hope everyone's having a good week and you're making some money and you're having sex with whoever you want to have sex with. That's the main thing. And I don't know. I've always had the mindset of there's really nothing to cry over. And y'all can please let me know if you think differently. Do you think like it's worth crying over anything that doesn't have to do with anything financial, a death, or anything medical? Like that's the only things that you should be crying over. Everything else is just like, whatever. Is what it is. Move on with your life, right? Because like obviously financial, you're not making money. That shit should make everyone cry because, losing your house, fucking up your credit, that shit's not cool. Not being able to eat, that shit's not cool. Any death in the family, obviously, that shit's sad. But yeah, that's always sad. You're not going to see them again. They are gone. But hopefully, if you're a Christian or you're whatever other religion you are, that, you'll be reincarnated or you'll be able to see them again in some sort of time. But hey, we'll have to see. And then lastly, obviously medical, like, if you get like a bad medical thing, cancer, God forbid, knock on wood, where's some wood at? Hope drywall counts. I don't know if that's wood, maybe plywood. Obviously that's going to affect your health. That's going to affect your finances and it's going to fucking suck. That's low key like some sort of torture going through something like that. Mental torture as in like, hey, I'm now facing my own mortality, and then financial torture as like, hey, now we're getting stretched thin now because at least in America, this shit's kind of fucked up, healthcare wise, where if you do want to get the healthcare in order to treat whatever you got going on, you're going to have to come out your motherfucking pocket and it's going to be tough. I mean, obviously you can have insurance and everything like that, but still, like, I don't think people come out of that richer than they did before. I mean, very few probably. But yeah, I want to hear what anyone has to say about that. See if that makes any sense. I mean, that makes sense to me. I like anything else. Like, I mean, people happy cry, but I don't really understand that unless they just can't control their emotions or whatever. And once they get too happy, it's just like, hey, I'm going to cry now. Because I could say the only times, maybe not the only times, I probably cried over other stuff when I was younger. But the main times that I cry, funerals, yeah, or like really bad health stuff. Like, hey, brain tumor, they only got about 3 more weeks to live. And you didn't have any, you didn't know. Because that's the thing that kind of sucks is when it's thrust on you and y'all didn't even know nothing about it. So you just thinking like, hey, auntie or uncle or whatever is going to be around for years to come to see my kids. And then out of nowhere, a family member that maybe you're close to, maybe you're not, is given like a bad health outlook. And then it's just like, hey, well, shit, I wish you could see my kids, but can't now. But yeah, I mean, sad stuff. But yeah, let me know if there's really any other thing to cry about. Because if you're crying over happy shit, like that doesn't really make any sense. I mean, to me at least, some people's fucking eye ducts may work differently. And they just cry over anything. Like I know when I get air in my eye, I cry a little bit. Because I don't know, my eye, that's just how my eye works. If I get too much air in it, like if it's a windy day, I'll start crying. I won't be boo-hooing or anything, but just interesting. All right. And then next one, I had a quick question was that, okay, I'm not really Christian. I'm more like agnostic. And to me, agnostic means like, hey, I don't know what's really going on. I might be a heaven, might be a hell, might be a God, may not be a God. I don't know what the fuck is going on, but I know that the here and now is where my life resides. So I'm just going to do the best I can in the here and now. And when it comes to death or whatever, it's going to happen inevitably. So it's just like, well, when it happens, I'm going to move on. It's like, if you're going from middle to high school, you won't really have to do anything. They're just going to continue moving you forward. I mean, you got to pass classes and shit, but that's kind of just living. Like, you can live your life as well as you want. Well, I guess that's a bad thing because you still have criteria. Like, no matter what, you're going to have to leave school at some point. You can't be 30 years old still in school. They're just going to either fail you or you're going to pass. So it's like, hey, if you go to heaven, like, great. Like, if you go to hell, whatever, it is what it is. But either way, you got to be pushed on to the next world. You know what I mean? So I feel like Christians usually say like, hey, we live in this world since it's temporary. We do what we can in order to get to heaven. So heaven is the end goal. Like, end goal is that you want to go to heaven. You want all your family and friends to go to heaven too. Now, the other side of it is you don't want to also go to hell because that's like torture forever. So you're treating this world that we're living in right now as just kind of like a place of existence to prove your worth in heaven, right? So that's kind of like a sports team, whether it be NBA or NFL, just kind of waiting around, and then they're playing the regular season games, right? They're playing the regular season games in order to get to the playoffs. And we're going to skip playoffs and everything like that. We're just going to say Super Bowl or whatever the championship is. So it's like you play the regular season and then the not even championship. Yeah, let's say getting into the playoffs. Let's say getting into the playoffs. So for those who don't know, playoffs pretty much is when like half of the teams that have the lowest records have to drop out and only the good teams get to play against each other in order to go to the championship, right? So if they're playing the regular season game, that's like the regular world. You're just kind of like, hey, doing good, trying to keep everyone else up in order for everyone to go to heaven and not get dropped off, which is the playoffs. Heaven is the playoffs. Final, and the finals would be you being God. God gives up his throne and then you're God for the year. And then, hell would be the not making the playoffs, right? So if you're playing, you're keeping people's heads up, you're making sure that you're doing the right thing, they're doing the right thing. Wouldn't you want to get to the playoffs as quick as possible? Like, in my mind, I'm like, you would want to get to the playoffs as quick as possible. If you're doing everything right and then like you're in the lead, you're going to the playoffs. It's like, let's just rush this shit. If they went to a team in the NBA, there's usually 82 games, right? So if they went to a team and the team has already won like 42 games straight, and then they're like, hey, you can either just get straight to the finals or straight to the playoffs, or you can continue playing and kind of like fuck up and then lose your winning record, right? Wouldn't you want to just be like, yeah, take me straight to the playoffs? Like, yeah, why are we going to keep working at it? Like, just go straight to the playoffs, right? In my mind, it's just like, hey, we did well enough in the first part. I want to just get to the second part ASAP so I can do what I've always wanted to do, and then we can live in this bliss if you're going to heaven, right? So that's why I don't really understand. So the real question is, why don't Christians have no fear, not of death, but like, I would try to kind of incite it quicker. I would be driving crazy. I'd be walking across the street without looking. Take my kids across the street without looking if I know that they're like good Christians and everything, they're going to go to heaven. So it's just like, well, why wouldn't you want to just expedite you and your family getting to the place of like greatness or whatever? Like, because that's the thing. I'm like, because people will probably say, well, you wouldn't kill the kids because, you want, I'm not saying you killed them. I'm just saying like you would hope that they die. So in me saying that, it's kind of like, people would probably say like they would want kids. They would say like, hey, I want my kids to have kids. I want them to live a full life. But it's like, why? If this is already temporary, like, why? Why would you want to do that? Doesn't make any sense. It seems like a way that people, like, I don't know, like, I'm not saying commit suicide because then you would probably go to hell, but it's like, just, if you're walking in the street, like, if you're walking on the sidewalk, just walk in the middle of the street. Just don't look where you're going. Like, if you work in a warehouse, just never look up. Never make sure, like, a pallet's not about to fall on your head and kill you. Like, who cares? If you see kids tossing, rocks off of a free, interstate free, whatever the fuck that shit's at the top, the bridge shit. Yeah, I just go right underneath it and be like, oh, if one hits me, it's cool. Because that's also, and then also, like, if you get a crazy disease like cancer or whatever, like, just let it go. Like, whatever. Don't take any chemo. Just like, hey, God gave, this is one thing I never understood. It's like, God gave me the cancer. Like, let's fucking go. Like, he's trying to get me up there faster, right? I mean, this is it seems like it's a messed up thing to say, but it's like, for real, I don't understand it from that mindset. Because I know for me, if I was a Christian and I was 100% sure I'm going to heaven after, whatever I do on this earth, I'm gonna be like, let's wrap this shit up. Let's get out of here. I'm trying to get to the end game, you know? I'm like, I don't care about any of this stuff if I know it's temporary. Like, and I don't want to hear nothing about being like, well, that's like being in college and just wanting to get to graduation. It's like, no, because college is still like a part of me after I leave. Like, after you get out of, after you die, you don't really care. I'm just like, hey, I want to see my family and like kind of kick it with my old pets and shit. That's it. In heaven. I don't know. Doesn't make any sense. But we're going to move on. Okay, I'd spent 11 minutes talking about this garbage. We're going to move on to the actual regular stuff with some new stuff. All right. So pretty much newer thing came out saying that higher potencies in weed are leading to rise in marijuana addictions. It's like, yeah, duh. Did you not think that? Like, if you have, cocaine that's less strong, like that's weaker than another sort of cocaine that's stronger, wouldn't you assume that the addiction rate would go up? Because people be like, wow, this shit is like great. Yeah, of course. Of course it happens. I mean, people are already crazy addicted to weed. Like, that's the thing. Like, it's interesting. Like, you can drink on the weekends, which I have done before. I'm stopping now because I'm like, yeah, it's just going to kill me. But, what's it called? Drink on the weekends and your friends see it. They're like, damn, this nigga's alcoholic. But then motherfucker can spark up every day and be like, man, I need to smoke before I wake up in the morning. And then I need to smoke it. I've heard of people saying they need to smoke in order to start their appetite up so that they want to eat and everything like that. They need to smoke in order to go to sleep. People when they get off of work, they're like, man, they already smoked in the morning, took a shower, then they go to work kind of high, smoke on their lunch break so that they can eat some food in their car, and then they smoke right after they get off of work in order to, I don't know, do the rest of their day shit by smoking and laying around and shit. And I'm not saying like every smoker is like that, but I've met plenty of smokers, and the fact that people say like weed isn't addictive, I don't really believe that. Because, you'll see guys like that smoke constantly, and then like when I haven't smoked in years just because I'm like, either I got to be all into it or I can't be in it at all. Because weed isn't like a thing that I can go back and forth on. Because it's just the fact that like when I smoke and I haven't smoked for a while, I get violently high, like just crazy high out of my mind. So it's just like, okay, this isn't fun right now because I'm paranoid. I'm thinking people are after me. People are going to find me. Everyone walking around outside is like a police officer about to bust out my door or whatever. And then it's not fun. And then when I come down, I'm just floating and I'm feeling good. And obviously for me, at least I have to do that for a few days before I can just get a nice, even high level. And then it's like, okay, I can just float through my day. But that violently high shit in the beginning is no bueno. Let's see. But what the fuck was I talking about? Oh yeah, obviously, like, people are already getting addicted to weed. I'd love to see how it is in these new cities, like Seattle, I think, where they legalize weed, and I want to see like how people are probably happier. People are probably, I don't even know. See, I don't know. Right now, in the state I am in my life, I really don't need to be doing any drugs. I can see myself getting back into it when I'm like older, like maybe, teenage kids or whatever. But right now it's kind of grind mode, so I can't get in the middle of stuff. But I don't know. It's not like I don't endorse weed or anything. I definitely endorse weed legalization 100%. I just think that right now there's going to be a pretty big overcorrection when it comes to it. Such as like people smoking every day thinking, well, it's legal, so it's cool, but not realizing like, well, that's the thing. You can still work and stuff high. You probably shouldn't, but you can. You can do it. Whatever. Yeah, niggas are getting, everyone is getting addicted. So, yeah, I mean, I don't even know how that was a study. How the fuck is that a study? If shit gets better, people want it more. Interesting. All right. So, players have collectively spent 25 billion hours playing Call of Duty, longer than the course of human existence. Okay, for those who don't know, when they say 25 billion hours, I'm assuming that means in match time. And in match time, that means per player. So like when they say 25 billion, it's not like, well, actually, let me read it before I start explaining shit that I don't even know. According to The Verge, Call of Duty, which began back in 2003, has 16 console games, blah, blah. These titles have been available across many platforms and are incredibly playable. Golly, I'm fucking up. Many individuals have put an amazing number of hours in just trying. Yeah, so this is hours per person. So say you have a game of 8 people, then the game lasts 10 minutes. They don't just clock the 10 minutes. They clock the 10 minutes per 8 people. So it's like 80 minutes total. So I don't know. It's pretty substantial. More than human existence. Yeah. Damn, that's actually pretty crazy. Not really. Not really. I don't even know. That it seems, when you first hear about it, it seems like an interesting statistic. But then if you're like, there are 3 billion people on the earth right now, like, I wonder how many human existences we would have burned through with 3 billion people and doing their lifespan up to 70. I don't know. That's like 2.1 trillion or something. I don't know. How many people do we have on Earth? No, I'm thinking 300, 300 people in America, 300 million people in America. It's 8 billion or 9 billion now. So 9 times 70, that's 63. So 630 billion? Yeah, 630 billion if they go up to 70. So then this 25 billion hours is dog shit compared to what the fuck I just said. Regardless though, Call of Duty some lit shit though. I had to get off of it, but I don't know. If you can't just play the same game over and over. That's one thing that I realized about video games, is that like, it's kind of like a trap a little bit. Again, I still do play video games. Like, I don't know, I'm just being a piece of shit right now. I'm just kind of like saying, yeah, this is fun, and I'm giving like the fucking grandpa side of things. Wasn't back in my day, but yeah, no, the whole thing with video games is that it seems like they just want to trap you in like a replayability loop. So, you know, with Call of Duty, it's like you pretty much go into a match, you shoot people, and then you get experience. And after you get enough experience, you go up a level. So then you keep playing games, keep going up levels, playing games, going up levels. And like the first Call of Duty, it was like you get to level 60 and it's over with, right? Or 70, whatever the fuck it is. And then that was just it. So people would stop playing it. But then they were like, okay, it takes a year for a new game to come out, maybe 2 years for a new game to come out. We can't just have people dropping off after 6 months because they reached level 60 that fast. So what they did was a prestige. So pretty much what you do is that when you get to level 60, you then prestige, and then you start back at level 0. And the prestiges go up to 10 levels. So that's technically, they just threw in 600 levels without saying it's 600 levels. You know what I mean? So pretty much they 10 times the amount of fucking, what's it called? The amount of replayability with just that one little system in it, you know? So now people can play the entire year for the new one to come out, because I feel like as a game developer, you don't want to break your stride. So like if people are playing your game for a year or for only 6 months, when the new one comes out, they're going to be like, yeah, that other one was fun, but you know, I only played it for a little bit, versus when you're playing the game, you're still grinding it out, and then a new one's coming out, you can be like, fuck. Like, I want to keep playing this one, but I know a new one's already out. I might as well just get the new one and then just try even harder to get to that 10th prestige level or whatever, level 60. And I think it gets progressively harder. So, like, when you get to level 1, you need more XP than level 1 in order to get to level 2. And then you need more XP from level 2 in order to get to level 3. So, say you need like 100 to get to level 1, you're going to need like 150 to get to level 2. They're going to need 200 to get to level 3, and so on and so on. And so after like 60 levels, obviously, that's a lot. But then when it resets, the prestige level 1 versus prestige level 2, that's level 1. I think it's going to be like the prestige level 1. The prestige 1 of level 1 is probably going to be like 100. And then the prestige level 2 is probably like 200. I don't know if that one's actually true, but it seems like that'll be about right. So it's hard to level up as you prestige, and it's hard to level up as you level up. So it's a nice little trap they got people in. But hey, if it makes money, it makes money. If it makes people happy, it makes people happy. Also, another thing, quick question. I'm going to put these on the internet, see if anyone gives a fuck about it. So how do I phrase this? Should you give a fuck about anything if it doesn't hurt anyone and doesn't affect you? Like if there's a new law that comes into play and it's like, hey, dog people can lick their dogs in their face, or I don't even know what would be something like something that doesn't affect anyone. It's just like, hey, gypsies can now go inside of public buildings. I guess well, it doesn't. I'm sorry, if it doesn't negatively affect anyone. If it positively affects people, then it is what it is. Same as like, giving abortion rights. Well, I guess they're going to be like that negatively affects the baby. And I was like, is that a person though? I don't know. This whole abortion rights thing, I'm getting pissed off because you can't say one thing and then mean another. I already went over this once. I don't know. I need to bang this other one out a little bit better before I put it on the podcast. The whole, if it doesn't affect anyone negatively, don't give a fuck about it. But either way, back to the news. Let's see. Woman who shot up Dallas airport says that Chris Brown says she is Chris Brown's wife and God's prophet after getting shot and arrested. Damn, she got shot. I didn't hear about this like in the news or anything. I also don't watch the news, so that makes a good amount of sense. Let's see. Clear the throat. The woman who opened fire in a Texas airport this week had once claimed to be God's prophet, married to singer Chris Brown, and has been repeatedly freed from jail from a series of alarming cries after being found mentally unfit to stand trial, according to a report. Porta Udufuwa, 37, remained in the hospital Tuesday morning after being shot and wounded by cops as she opened fire inside Dallas Love Field Airport Monday. Shocking videos caught passengers screaming and ducking for cover after Ufuwa fired several shots at mom upon emerging from an airport bathroom where she had gone to get changed. It later emerged that Udufuwa was free despite a lengthy history of mental health and serious crimes, including bank robbery, even arson. Bank robbery more than once. She had been given police the home address of Rihanna's bad boy ex Brown, saying she lived there with the running scene, calling him her husband. Affidavits reportedly show. Mental health is a motherfucker, bro. Mental health is really a motherfucker. And it's really crazy that people didn't give a fuck about it too. Because I couldn't imagine myself back in like the 1950s, right? And then someone's coming out being like, hey, some dude came out and was like, hey, Elvis is in my house right now. He's trying to break in. And then you go there and like nothing's happening. And then like this person is seeing an invisible figure and then just being like, yeah, whatever. He's just acting weird. I'd be like, that's a very strange thing to be happening, So like even with this mental health shit, like I feel like if your family members have mental, and this might be completely out of line or whatever, because I think I do have family members with mental health, but I don't deal with them like that because they're not like immediate family or whatever. You know what I'm saying? I'm not being an asshole and just leaving them in the street to go crazy. It's just, I don't know the person like that. But what about mental health? Oh yeah. Like if you have mental health, like at a certain point, you have to be like, hey, it's probably better for this person to be like in a place than to be out. Even if the place probably isn't the best, like, I don't think hospice is like the best place for people. They mistreat people like that. But like the things that can happen to her or that she can do to other people, especially if they have a history of like aggravated or aggressive tendencies, it's like, yeah, you don't want them to be out there and like, because what if this lady swung on somebody and then someone just opened fire on her and killed her? It's like, okay, you can't go over to that person and say, she had mental health problems. Like, I don't give a fuck if she had mental health problems. She swung on me, and apparently she has wherewithal enough to get a gun. So it's like, or she could have shot up a daycare or something. It's like, yeah, at a certain point, you need to be like, you shouldn't be just out here doing shit. And the fact that she was it seemed like she was at the airport alone is like, so she's getting around and doing stuff and getting into things. You have, at a certain point as a parent or like as a guardian, you have to be like, yeah, you need to stay here because this is probably going to be safer for you. Like, yeah, it's not the best place. You're not going to like it, but like, and obviously I feel like other people are going to be like, well, you never had anyone with mental health or you never had to take care of somebody. It's exhausting, blah, blah, blah. And not discounting their feelings or anything, but it's like, yeah, I do 100% understand what you're saying. But I don't know. You got to look out for this person's best interest. And it's like, if you know that this motherfucker is going to get out and try to rob a bank at gunpoint, then it's like, okay, well, let's not do that because she can get killed or kill someone else for no good reason, And if, I don't know, again, because And that's another thing with I can't keep saying that's another thing and not finish my first point, but that's what I'm going to do. That's an interesting thing about mental health is that people will take the pills and get better. This is what kills me. So people like say if you have schizophrenia or like bipolar disorder, and then and you go and take your pills, then you get better from the pills, right? You get better. They say that a lot of people with mental health, well, not a lot, but a few people with mental health will say like, well, I'm getting better now. I don't need to take my pills. That doesn't make any sense because that's the thing. If they're getting better, they should be able to, I feel like they should be able to think more logically or like think in a better capacity than being like, hey, these pills that make me better, even though I am getting better, aren't the thing that's working. I don't need to continue taking them. And then they stop taking them and then go back to being how they were beforehand. That's I don't know, pretty crazy way to put it together, you know, especially because that's the thing. They're supposed to be thinking logically at that point, but then they're not thinking logically, getting off the pills and then still not thinking logically. So I don't know. There's a thing to be said with that, but me no no, men no no. Yeah, because I mean the fact that she's like, yeah, Chris Brown is my husband, getting shot and everything, and still like playing these games. It's like, okay, you clearly do have a serious mental problem. I don't even know if this is worth talking about. Man drove over 700 miles to kill his ex-wife after she talked about their marriage troubles on TikTok. Like, yeah, this social media shit's crazy because I don't know. Some people just can't shut their fucking mouth. Some people really can't. And I'm not saying this girl deserved to die. I'm not saying that. This is a totally different subject. But I'm not, obviously she didn't deserve to die for putting her own business on TikTok and he was just a part of it. She shouldn't be name dropping. I know that, but she shouldn't have died for it. I'm going to say that off the rip. But number one, there are some people that can't shut the fuck up and that shit is annoying as fuck. And then when you don't want to talk to them, they want to talk to you about how you don't want to talk to them. It's like, this is a fucking oxymoron. Nigga, get the fuck away from me. I hate people that don't know how to shut the fuck up. Jesus. It's like we're talking about nothing, going around in circles because you can't let something go. You can't just be like, okay, we have differing opinions. Whatever, it's cool. Let it go. It's like, no, I have to express myself 10 times and then you express yourself and then we don't come to a conclusion and then we have to express each other. And it's like, we're wasting time at this point. Can we just continue on with this fucking movement? But, yeah, no, obviously she shouldn't have died. Here we go. A man traveled more than 700 miles to Chicago to go to his ex-wife's home where he fatally shot her before killing himself too. The tragic incident happened after he spoke about the relationship problems on TikTok, authorities say. Shia Khan, 29, and her ex-husband Ramil Ahmad, 36, were found with gunshot wounds to the head in her condo last week. Chicago Sun-Times reported. The pair tied the knot but divorced in less than a year. I don't understand that. Ahmad of Alpharetta, Georgia, traveled to Illinois last week and killed Khan. Khan, a Pakistani-American photographer, often discussed the challenges she faced while seeking to split with Ahmad. Going through a divorce as a South Asian woman feels like you fail at life sometimes, she wrote in the post. The way the community labels you, the lack of support you receive, and the pressure to stay with someone because what will people say that's the fucking dumbest thing. I hate marriage is so goddamn stupid. It's such a stupid thing. Oh man, bro. Marriage is so stupid. It doesn't make any sense. The pressure to stay with someone because what will people say makes it harder for women to leave marriages they shouldn't have been in to begin with. She added her family exerted pressure on her to keep the marriage going with some threatening suicide if she were. But that's your problem if you want to kill yourself because of my marriage. Police responded to Khan's apartment after Ahmad's family contacted authorities to report him missing and expressed their concern for his welfare. After they knocked at the woman's door, officers reportedly heard gunshot and then an audible groan. After going inside, they discovered Khan dead and Ahmad suffering from a mortal gunshot wound. Yeah, that's so fucking dumb. Like, I hate the fact that you can't just get up and leave somebody. Like, the government has to be involved. I could have sworn, like, there was a thing in the Constitution to say, like, God and government separate or something. And then they're like, except with marriage. Like, and then people make other people want to get married because they're married. It's like, what the fuck? Because I don't understand the whole process of marriage other than like making sure that there's two people to take care of kids. That's the only thing. And child support already kind of has that locked down. There's no need for marriage. Yeah, I don't, because the only positive people say with marriage is that, like, yeah, it helps with your taxes sometimes. It's like, the fuck? Okay. Like, all right. That's one positive thing. What's anything? And it's like, yeah, nothing else. It's like, yeah, I wanted to be able to tell the lady that I'm with, like, yo, if you keep fucking around, I'm just going to leave and find someone else. Like, simple as that. Rather than having to go through a whole divorce proceeding and get lawyers and everything like that. It's like a fucking headache. And people that condone marriage, they just miss the rest of the shit. They don't ever think like, oh, okay, more than 50% of marriages end in divorces. And then if you have more than one divorce, what's it called? The rate of divorce like skyrockets from there. It's like, why the fuck are we doing this? And then people go into debt over marriages, and then it's like a whole thing. It's literally a thing where it's like, yeah, if you get a cake, you might as well just say it's for like a meeting or something, because if you say it's for a marriage, they're going to upcharge you crazy amounts. Like, if you get a photographer and it's for a regular event versus a marriage, it's crazy amounts. And then they're like, well, it's because it's the only time you ever get to do it. It's like, you can get married as many times as you fucking want to. What are you talking about? Like, it's ridiculous. It's just, it's like it's like a made up holiday. It's just fucking dumb. It doesn't make any sense to me. Oh, okay, I'm going to be with this woman for the rest of my life. Awesome. Great job. Like, I'd rather it just be a party. Like, hey, we signed the documents. There we go. Like, we made a promise to stay with each other. Awesome. Even though we can go back on that promise in the eyes of God. Awesome. Like, what the fuck? Who gives a fuck about this shit? I don't understand marriage. It doesn't make any sense to me. Like, maybe it's some like tradition back in the day shit that people did. And then it's just like, okay, well, I guess we have to do it because grandma's telling me I need to get married for whatever reason. It's like, I feel like back in the day, they did it because it was like, the man had to work, and then a woman needed someone to kind of take care of her, because at that point in time, like back in the day, this isn't now, blah, blah, blah. But it's like they needed someone to support them because they weren't allowed to work. It was only men that were allowed to work or, make money or whatever. So it was like, okay, we married so that we know that this lady's attributed to this guy, and he's but now that now that everyone's working, it's like, what do we need marriage for? What does it really do? Hey, I'm married to this guy. Oh, okay, y'all are fucking? Yeah. Okay, cool. Who gives a fuck? Like, if I don't never ask people if they're married or not. I just say, okay, this is your girl. No, this is my wife. Oh, okay, so you spend $100,000, you spend $10,000 to call your wife. Like, what is the average cost of a marriage? Let me look this shit up. Average cost of marriage. And then sometimes, like, I don't know, my girl asked me, and I've heard other guys have said this too, that girls want to get marriage counseling before the marriage. I'm like, why the fuck? You just want to spend money, huh? Oh my Jesus. Okay. This is crazy. The cost of a marriage. Okay, so the average cost is $20,000. Number one, that's fucking ridiculous. That's a down payment on a house. How about you just get a house together? And then the average cost per person is $290. And that's the thing. People want to be fucking flexing their shit. Just be like, hey, I'm married now. And then they're going to invite everyone that they don't give a fuck about. It's like, what? Because it's weird to me, because people would be like, oh, okay, well, in order to save on money, you can just not invite some people to the reception. And, you can save on the food and everything, the food and liquor or whatever. But then it's like, why did you invite them to the wedding in the first place if you didn't want to pay for their fucking food? Like, if they're not cool enough that you can pay for their food, or you just don't want them there like that, then why the fuck did you invite them? They probably don't want to be there either. I don't know. I'm going to get off this marriage shit, because other people are probably like, no, I like marriage. And it's like, why? It's like, because it shows that between the eyes of God that y'all are together as a force. It's like, no, it doesn't. Because that's the thing. If whenever someone got married and then they both said I do, and a fucking what's it called, the clouds broke open, and then the ray of sunshine shined on both of them, they got lifted into the air, and then a beam of light comes from both of the people, and then their eyes glow, and then they say, and then a booming voice says, you are two of one now. I'd be like, oh shit, yeah, that's married to some shit that you probably need to do. I don't know what that is, but that seems like some legit shit. But no, niggas is just like, nothing. You do? Okay, great. Awesome possum. Then continue on. Also, I am an ordained minister saying this shit, so you know it's legit. All right, moving on to the next one. Let's see. Former Minneapolis police officer J. Alexander Quing sentenced to 3 years in prison for violating George Floyd's civil rights during the 2020 killing. I thought all these niggas already got tried. I didn't know that this shit was still going on. Because, yeah, I mean, that George Floyd shit was pretty crazy. Like, obviously, he wasn't the best of guys. They said he was kind of a piece of shit and like a, damper on the neighborhood and everything. Damper probably isn't the word, but you get what I'm saying. Like he did fentanyl. I think he had like fentanyl system. He did like other shit. He had like a pistol or some shit and tried to kill a pregnant woman or something like that. Like, yeah, he wasn't a good guy, but that doesn't mean you can just, like, there's a lot of bad people, and I would love to strangle them to death, but you can't, because that's the law. For a minute, yeah, I thought this shit was wrapped up already, to be honest with you. I didn't think this shit was still going on. Yeah, the 2020 killing, it's been 2 years. What happened to the whole speedy trial thing? I could have sworn that there was like a whole thing with speedy trial. Are we like in a lack of judging right now? Like, do we need more judges going on in order to get this speedy trial shit happening? But I don't know what the fuck this nigga did, and there's not really enough information. But I don't know. I remember there was like 2 guys that were like relatively new, like only a year on the force or something. I'm like, I don't think they should get any time. Because, I mean, they did stand around, but it's also like if your superior says it, like, because the police is closer to the military than I would have thought. Because, me looking into police officer stuff, I kind of look at videos and I'll see that they'll refer to people as captain and stuff. I don't think they do salutes or anything, but it's a very military sort of hierarchy. So I was in JROTC for a good amount of time. Obviously, that's not the real military, but it taught me a lot about it. I was 4 years. And then I was also very invested into becoming a Marine. So obviously I know all the videos and stuff like that. Let's see. Looked at all the videos and everything. Oh yeah. So like, as like an underling, you usually don't fuck with whatever someone above you is doing. Even if it's fucked up, the most you should probably do is like, hey, report it to somebody so it can go to the right authorities or whatever, the right people above them for them to be disciplined. You're not really in charge of what they do. And if they're doing something that kills somebody, it's like, well, it's tough, but they got to deal with that shit. So it's yeah, I don't really think a lot of that. Some of those guys shouldn't have anything to do because, I mean, obviously they did everything right because I believe when, what's his face, whoever the dude that killed him, when they got there, he was in the back of the police car. All right. Like 3 years in prison. I'd be pretty fucking pissed off at that. Yeah. Cause I'd be like, I literally just stood there. I don't know. I think there needs to be changes to like the Constitution or like to the police department that says like, hey, if someone is if it's worth it, someone should be able to like knock out a police officer or pull a gun on a police officer and be like, hey, stop what you're doing. And then call other police there and make sure that he's recording it, like make sure anyone's recording it. And then if it goes to jury, because that's the thing, it's so weird because like the court system kind of sides with cops most of the time, but you can also come to the conclusion that like, police lie and then protect themselves. So, because again, I don't know. Again, I'm not going to go through this police hate shit, but I don't think this guy should have gotten any time if he's one of the dudes that was kind of just standing around and an underling and knew. It's just like, yeah, we put him in the back of the police car, then he got yanked back out, and then, he's still on his neck for whatever 3 minutes. I don't know, because I guess cops are supposed to correct cops. But again, if he's a superior officer, it's kind of difficult to do. I think his lawyer fucking sucked. Or maybe he did something, I don't know. Breaking news. This is kind of late because this was last week, actually. Louisiana rapper Jay the Youngin and his father were allegedly shot today in his hometown. He was transported to a hospital on a helicopter. Close sources say he wasn't breathing at the time. He is now deceased, I believe. I don't know what happened to his father. They didn't really cover what happened to his father, but yeah. Let's see. Nope. Yeah, so apparently he passed away. Looks like he has a kid and everything. Not shout out, but everything to the young man's family. That's tough shit. But not tough shit. That's like, I don't know. That's like bad. Hopefully everything works out and hopefully his memory isn't sullied by this event. Whatever. Not whatever, but you get what I'm saying. I'm sad that this guy is dead. It's no good. And one thing with this whole thing is that like I was thinking the other day because I heard a statistic saying that being a president is the number one most dangerous job in the world, essentially because two presidents were assassinated, I think. Abraham Lincoln. How many presidents have been assassinated? How many presidents have been assassinated? Let's see. God damn, they can't just give me the fucking answer. Where the fuck is this? Assassination. I don't want to see attempts. How many fucking people died? Okay, here we go. We got Abraham Lincoln, James A. Garfield, William McKinley, and John F. Kennedy. 4 sitting presidents have been killed. Okay. Yeah, so 4 presidents have been killed, and we have like 47. How many presidents have we had? How many presidents have we had? All right, so there's been 46 presidents, including the current one, Joe Biden. Yeah, so there we go. And 45 other individuals have served as president. So 46 individuals, and 4 of them have died. That's roughly a 10% like mortality rate as president. So that's why they say that this is is the most dangerous job in the world, because there's a 10% death rate. You know, anyone that's held the position has been 10% of them have died while doing it. But I'm thinking rappers that have like an actual name and I don't know what the criteria would be. It would have to be rappers that have a name that's known in there, at least locally. You know, I don't know how you would do that, like SoundCloud, or like because that's the thing, you can't even do if they have like a club spotlight or whatever, because I remember I went to a club once and this nobody got on stage and sung a nobody fucking song with a group of niggas. And everyone was like, what is going on here? He was up there for a good 20 minutes and then he got down and it was just like, what the fuck was that? Don't know what his name was. No clue. But, yeah, the amount of rappers that get killed, like, because I believe last year there was at least 4 big time rappers that got murdered, like killed on the spot. There was that one dude that got shot on the freeway in Chicago. TJ or whatever died from lean overdose or whatever, something like that. And it's just like, I want to know how many rappers have died that have been like relatively big, you know, that have been murdered versus presidents. I'd love to see what that is. Because obviously, and I say locally because like anyone can call themselves a rapper. I'm calling myself a rapper. I'm also pre-med and I'm also pre-law, because like technically everyone is that. I'm pre-law. I'm thinking about going into it when I'm 100, whatever. I'm pre-law. I'm pre-med, and I'm thinking about going into it when I'm 95, 5 years of med school, and then fucking go straight into law school when I'm 100. So I'm pre-law. And then also I'm a rapper. Chain on shine, work on grind. Bitches want to see me all the time. There we go. First bar. Easy peasy. So I'm a rapper. But obviously no one knows me. I'm little chain gang in the mainframe. You see me? That's my rap name, Lil Chain Gang in the Mainframe. So obviously no one knows my name because I just started rapping. So like if I got killed, that shouldn't be added into the statistic of rappers, because I feel like there's more rappers alive that no one knows about than there are rappers that people actually know about. You know, there's probably like a 12-year-old out there, like Lil Mouse, that no one really knows about, that's rapping right now, that considers himself a rapper as a full-time job. There's probably a lot of niggas out there that consider themselves rappers and they think that that's a full-time job. But whatever. That's up to them. I'd love to see those statistics. Boop, boop, boop. Let's see. And it's kind of weird because like the rap game it's not funny, but it's funny because like rap game, it seems like they go against each other. You know, it's like people will beef in rap and then it's like a normal thing to where it's like, yeah, people that like this person want to kill this person, they will actively shoot at them if they're really about the shit. But I don't know any other genre of music that's like that. Like rock groups, I don't see rock groups like feuding and fighting. I don't see pop stars trying to fuck each other up, or like country stars trying to fight each other. It's only rap, and it just seems very ignorant. It's like, don't we all want to eat? Or maybe they're thinking of it as like, hey, there's only a this much audience out there. I need to get as much of that as I can and fuck y'all. But I don't know. People don't understand that people can listen to multiple people at once, but it is what it is. Or maybe they just think they're not that good enough. If I take this other person out that is better than me, then I have a better chance. That's probably not it. If you got a fight like that, you're probably not that good. Like until you're at the D1 level of rap, you're really not getting in there. Cause like, what's his name? Jid. I think he signed to J. Cole right now. JID. He's a good one, but it doesn't seem he's broken through. I think he's been on a feature on a few like big songs, but he hasn't broken through to be that like Gunna type, because I don't know how the fuck Gunna got there. I think he kind of rode on Lil Baby's back in order to get all the way up there, but I'm going to stop this now because people that don't know rap are like, who the fuck are all these people? Gunna, Lil Baby, TJ, Jit, what are these names? But yeah, shout outs to Jada Young Man, Louisiana rapper. Hopefully you're doing good, man. For those who are into basketball, Jimmy Buckets has a new signature look now. He took off his fucking flat top haircut or whatever it was, his little messy haircut, and now he has long ass dreads in. And I'm like, that shit's got to be like impactful to your game. If you haven't had long dreads like that, and then you put on like 15 pounds of weight on the back of your neck, it would seem weird, right? Because in my mind, I'm like, and when I mean long, I mean he has to tie them up. It's not like no Ja Morant braids. It's longer than J. Cole's, or not braids, dreads. It's longer than J. Cole's dreads. You know, he has to tie them up and loop them twice over just because they're so fucking long. But I'm like, I don't know, maybe it doesn't affect your game. I know for me, like, you know, having long hair, I feel like would tickle my back and everything. And then when you start sweating, it's going to get in your hair and that's just going to get all nasty. I don't know. I mean, I know niggas can hoop with dreads and everything. Like, I think Ken Fareed did it, but I don't know. I can't. Well, hey, that's just me. Maybe him, he's on a different level, so maybe not. But still, also, I don't know. I think that's the appeal of dreads or whatever, that why people are going to him so much. Because like even Steph Curry tried out the little dread look. He had them tiny starter locks and then kind of went back to it. But like every rapper now has like dreads, and then Florida got wigs and everything like that. And I'm just like, is that just a new hairstyle? Or is it going over to the more Jamaican way of doing shit? Because, you know, now damn near every black person you talk to is like, yeah, I'm like a quarter Jamaican or whatever the fuck. And I'm like, hold on, when did your people come over? Like, yeah, my great grandparents came over. They were first generation. I'm like, you so taken away back from it, but I don't know. Also, I don't have any roots, so maybe that's me talking out of spite or something, like subconsciously. Because I'm like, oh, okay, I don't have like any particular place I can go to. I'm just Black America. Most of my family lives in the North, so that's it. I'm North American. But yeah, I don't understand where dreads, like, I mean, I understand it's a fashion trend, but the ease, like I feel like it's hard to upkeep because you got to keep getting them retwisted and everything. And like some niggas just don't keep their hair right. And like you'll have an afro and then like some dreads on the top of it. I'm like, and then it's like a whole thing to have to sit down and have them re-dread your hair, and it takes like 4 hours every like 2 or 4 weeks. I'm like, bro, that seems like a huge fucking commitment. And I don't know, maybe that's the thing. I don't have dreads, obviously, the way I'm talking about it, but like maybe you just getting so much pussy and getting so much money thrown your way, it just don't even matter. Like niggas with dreads might be living a whole different life than I'm living right now. Really. Or maybe they're not. Or maybe they're fucking not. Let's see. And lastly, what's a good one? I think that's a good one right there. I gotta say, R.I.P. to the legendary Bill Russell. R.I.P. I gotta say this. He's definitely the most winningest basketball player, and I have to tell this to any Jordan lovers. Jordan cannot be the GOAT. Either LeBron is the GOAT or Bill Russell is the GOAT. Jordan is not the GOAT, okay? Number one, okay. First of all, just address Bill Russell. He was a great basketball player, won, I believe, 11 rings, and he passed away. And when I say rings, I mean NBA titles, NBA championships, 11 championships. How many seasons did he play? How many seasons did Bill Russell play? Boop, boop, boop. 13. God damn. That nigga lost one in his sophomore year, and then the third to last year of his career, he played from 1957 to 1969, so that's 13, and then only lost in his sophomore year, and then 3 years before he retired. So he won his first year in the NBA in his last year too. That's crazy. Okay, but yeah, I'm sorry. Different from that. So yeah, Bill Russell, rest in peace. Hopefully his family's okay. He was old though. He was fairly old. So I mean, hopefully it's not a. I was 88 years old. Yeah, that's a long life, and he probably lived a pretty good life, being an NBA champion, and a legendary player. Let's see. Oh yeah, but that's the craziest thing for those who don't watch the NBA or who do watch the NBA. If you watch the NBA, I feel like I've seen Bill Russell so many times in my life. Obviously on the on the TV, not in real life, but like I feel like every NBA playoff he was popping his head out. Every now and again he would go up to TNT or ABC and then pop his head in and say like hey or whatever, and then they would ask him some questions, or he would have like an interview or whatever. I would see this man everywhere, even though he was old as hell. That's no disrespect because he still looked good and he still talked fine. He just talked a little bit slower and he had a crazy deep voice because this nigga like 6'10" or something like that. But yeah, it's sad, very sad. I think he's the first. They were saying that since the NBA's beginning, no MVP has died yet, and I think he's the first one. So very sad. Either way, the whole Jordan LeBron debate that I was going to. If you think Jordan is the GOAT, you're wrong, because number one, LeBron. Let me look at LeBron. What's it called? NBA all-time leading stats. Okay, here we go. We have points. LeBron is second in points, and fucking Michael Jordan is fifth. Assists. LeBron is seventh, and Michael Jordan is not in the top 10. We have steals. LeBron is 10th. Michael Jordan is in third. But LeBron has 400 to make up. Michael Jordan might beat him on that one. Yeah. Offensive rebounds. Oh, hold on. Let's see. We have... I'm not reading through all these people. Offensive rebounds. Offensive rebounds. Give me a second. Jesus. Why are all these people not... None of these people are in the NBA right now. All these people are like older folks. Still? No, Anthony Davis is in here. Okay, we're going to skip that one. Defensive rebounds, neither of them are in the top 10. How about I just do like this? I'm going to just do the top 10. So, yeah. Points, LeBron's in second. Jordan's in fifth. Assists, LeBron is in seventh. Jordan is not on the list. Actually, let me write these down. 5, 7. Oh, this is what we're going to do, people. I'm going to figure this shit out right now. So 5, 7 for LeBron. And then we have, we have 2 and 7. And then we have 5 and 0. And then this is Jordan. I probably need to cut this part out because people don't want to hear me typing. So steals, LeBron is in 10th. Jordan is not on the list. Offensive rebounds, neither Jordan or LeBron. Defensive rebounds, neither Jordan or LeBron. Rebounds in general, neither Jordan or LeBron. Blocks, neither Jordan or LeBron. Blah, blah. Field goals made, LeBron is in second place. Jordan is not on the list. Field goals attempted, that's not really a good one. Because, you could just attempt. Because that's the thing. If I put 2, it's going to make LeBron look better than Jordan, but technically there's like a bad stat or whatever, if that makes sense. Field goal percentage. Damn, DeAndre Jordan shooting for 67. Well, not shooting, but dunking for 67% is really fucking good. 3-pointers made, neither of them. 3-points attempted, LeBron James. I'm not going to add that one. 3-point percentage. Free throws made. That's a pretty good one. Well, that just shows how many times you get. Okay, here. I'm going to do LeBron at number 4. Okay, I think we need to end this. Turnovers. LeBron James number 1 in turnovers. Goddamn, boy. All right. That's all I'm going to do. Either way, so LeBron is busting his ass in these stats, number 1. Number 2, he lasted longer than Jordan, okay? Number 3, yeah, he didn't go 6 for 6 or whatever. He didn't go 6 for 6, but he went to the finals plenty of times, and I think he has 4 rings. How many rings does LeBron have? He has 4. Yeah, he can get 6. He can definitely get 6. I mean, he's still a top 5 player, easily. He's still a top 5 player at like 36, 37 years old. He can definitely go back and get some more rings, okay? Let's see. He's been to the finals more than Jordan. And I know people are saying like, yeah, but you can't. I'm like, then what about the years that this nigga didn't make the finals? Like, here's the thing. If you made the finals more than somebody else, you probably are better than them, right? And then people are going to say, well, hold on, was Jordan East? Is Chicago East Coast? I'm assuming it's East Coast. Is Chicago the East Coast? I don't know. Whatever. Because people were saying like, no, LeBron had an easy way there because he was on the East Coast versus the West Coast. And I'm like, nigga, he made the finals. Like, I think Jordan was on the East Coast too. The motherfucker didn't even make the finals. Like, how many times? Oh my goodness. I should have looked this up before. Did LeBron go to the finals? He went to the finals 10 times and got 4 rings, okay? How many times did Jordan go? Well, Jordan went 6. So LeBron he's about to go double the fucking amount of times that Jordan went to the finals. He just lost there because he was playing the best team at the time, or the other best team at the time. So it's like, okay, clearly. And then that's the thing. Scottie Pippen wasn't no fucking slouch because it shows like Scottie Pippen was like the number 1 person on the Bulls after he got off. So he still had a very good second. I mean, LeBron had Kyrie and everything like that. But like he has AD now, but that nigga constantly hurt. I don't know. I don't get it. Because then people will say like, well, Jordan has more rings than LeBron. I'm like, so if you just going to dismiss all the stats and all the shit and you just going to look at the rings, it's like Bill Russell got more rings than Jordan. So if we're going to go based off of rings, clearly Jordan's not the GOAT. Bill Russell is because he got 11. LeBron has 4. He only 2 away. There's 2 more years, and he could do it too. You know what? Because that's the thing. When LeBron gets older, well, he's already older, but when he gets even more older or whatever, he can still get more rings. And then people, I don't know. This shit just don't make any sense. I think people just really are like fans of Jordan and just want to say shit and don't want to back it up with nothing. Because like LeBron was a fucking force. Like, yeah, Jordan was probably a really good inside finisher, but it's just like, okay, awesome. He was an excellent inside finisher, but he is not the GOAT. Just because he did flashy shit does not make him the GOAT. All right, y'all. Most people would probably turn this off if they're not sports guys, but or sports people, not guys. Guys and gals. But yep. Have a good day. Sorry about the little sports thing at the end. I try to keep it to a minimum, but I didn't have like any backup for my shit, so I had to look it up real time. But at least you got to see how my brain worked in that little instant. Probably need to cut some of those parts out, but I won't. All right, y'all. Take it easy. Hopefully you have a good day, and don't be an asshole.